My brothers and sisters, sometimes life brings you to a moment where you pause, not because you planned it, not because you were ready, but because Allah places something in front of you that your heart cannot ignore. You know those moments when everything seemed to be falling apart, when you were convinced nothing good was coming, when you had no idea how to move forward. And yet, out of nowhere, Allah opened a door you didn't knock on, a door you didn't even know existed, a door you never imagined was for you. Think about it for a moment. How many times did you worry yourself to the point of exhaustion, only to look back one day and say, "Ah, Subhanallah, if things had gone the way I wanted, I would have missed something far greater." How many times did you make do with tears, feeling like nothing was changing, unaware that Allah was rearranging the entire universe quietly, gently, beautifully, just to deliver something better than what you were asking for? Sometimes Allah delays because what you're asking for is too small for the rank He wants to elevate you to. Sometimes He closes a door because the one behind it would have broken you. Sometimes He removes a person not to leave you alone, but to make room for someone who will lift you. And sometimes Allah surprises you in a way that leaves you unable to speak, only able to cry, smile, and whisper, "Alhamdulillah, you knew. You always knew." This is why the believer never loses hope. Because even in the darkest hour, even when nothing makes sense, even when every road looks blocked, Allah is working behind the scenes. And wallahi, when His plan reveals itself, you will understand why every hardship was worth it. You will understand why it had to be delayed, why it had to hurt, why it had to confuse you. Because without those moments, your heart would never have been ready to receive the beauty that was written for you. Now let us dive into 4 powerful lessons about what happens when Allah's plan surprises you in the most beautiful way. When Allah's timing unfolds in your life, it often comes in a way that humbles you, softens you, and reminds you that you were never the one in control. You see, when we ask Allah for something, we tend to expect immediate answers. We want to see signs. We want to see movement. We want proof that our dua has been heard. But Allah, in His infinite wisdom, often responds by making things still. And that stillness, for many of us, feels like silence. It feels like nothing is happening. It feels like our prayers are floating into the air with no response. Yet this is the moment where faith is tested. This is the moment where belief becomes more than words. Because the believer who trusts Allah's timing is the believer who understands that delay is not denial. Delay is preparation. There are times in life when you are asking Allah for a door to open and instead He keeps you waiting. And in that waiting, you feel your heart tightening. You question yourself. You question the situation. Sometimes you even question whether you are worthy of the blessing. But Allah has written every moment with precision. He knows the exact second when a blessing will protect you rather than harm you. He knows the exact day when your heart will be mature enough to carry what you are asking for. He knows the moments of weakness that would break you if the blessing came too soon. You may think you're ready, but Allah knows what readiness truly is. Think of a mother who prepares food for her child. The child may be hungry, begging, crying, saying, "I want it now." But the mother knows the food isn't ready. If she gives it early, it will harm the child. So she waits, even if the child doesn't understand. She stirs the pot, adjusts the heat, prepares it carefully, making sure it's safe, nourishing, and beneficial. And then, at the perfect moment, she serves it with love. This is Allah's timing with your dua. You are the child crying for something, unaware that giving it to you early could burn you, break you, or lead you astray. But Allah is not just preparing the blessing, He is preparing you. You might be praying for a job and wondering why the door hasn't opened. You don't know the politics inside that company. You don't know the people who would have made your life miserable. You don't know the environment that would have pulled you away from Allah. And then months later, a better opportunity appears, better environment, better people, better future. And in that moment you say, "Allah, now I understand." You might be praying for a spouse, feeling like your time is running out. You look around and see everyone moving forward while you feel left behind. What you don't see is the person Allah is shaping for you. What you don't see is the spiritual growth He is developing in you. What you don't see is the protection He is giving you from heartbreaks you were never meant to face. And when that person finally enters your life, you realize that the wait wasn't empty. It was essential. You might be praying for ease, but Allah gives you strength first. You ask for a smooth path, but He gives you resilience to walk it. You want the blessing, but He wants to upgrade your capacity to hold it. Because when the blessing comes, He wants you to appreciate it, not break under it. When Allah's timing finally reveals itself, you will say, with tears of gratitude, if it came earlier, I wouldn't have been ready. And at that moment, every second of waiting will feel worth it. There are moments in life when Allah removes something from your hands, and at that time, it feels like the world is collapsing. You cling to that job, that friendship, that plan, that comfort, convinced that without it, you cannot function. And when Allah takes it away, your heart feels exposed, vulnerable, and confused. But what you don't realize in that moment is that Allah never removes anything from a believer except to protect them, elevate them, or replace it with something far better. We often mistake loss for punishment, when in reality, it may be the greatest form of mercy Allah is giving us. Think about how tightly the human heart holds on to things. We hold on to people who hurt us. We hold on to opportunities that limit us. We hold on to environments that drain us. We hold on to habits that harm us. Why? Because they are familiar. Because letting go feels like stepping into uncertainty. But Allah sees what you cannot. He sees the conversations behind closed doors, the intentions hidden in people's hearts, the consequences you are blind to, the dangers you don't recognize. So when He removes something, even abruptly, even painfully, it is not cruelty, it is protection. Imagine a child holding a sharp object. He clings to it because he thinks it is a toy. He doesn't understand the harm it can cause. The parent gently tries to take it away, but the child resists, cries, fights, convinced something valuable is being stolen. But if the parent does not intervene, the child will hurt himself. So the parent takes it, forcefully if needed, while the child screams. Later, that same child grows up and realizes that the one thing he cried for was the very thing that would have wounded him. This is how we are with Allah. We cry over things He removes, unaware that He is saving us from heartbreak, betrayal, spiritual deterioration, or long-term harm. Many people look back at their lives and say, if Allah hadn't taken that away, I would have been destroyed. But at the time of loss, they couldn't see it. You too will have such moments. You will look back and realize the person you begged Allah to keep in your life was the very person whose presence would have drained your joy. The job you thought was your dream would have crushed your peace. The plan you were obsessed with would have led you away from Allah. And in hindsight, you whisper, Alhamdulillah for the doors you closed. Allah's removal is not rejection, it is redirection. Sometimes He removes because you are attached to something beneath your worth. Sometimes He removes because your heart has placed the creation above the Creator. Sometimes He removes because that blessing was becoming a distraction. And sometimes He removes because He wants to give you something your hands cannot receive while they are full. If Allah didn't take certain things from you, you would never discover what you truly deserve. You would settle for less. You would stay in places that shrink you. You would remain surrounded by people who don't value you. And you would never grow into the person Allah knows you can be. So the next time something or someone leaves your life, don't say, why did this happen? Say, Allah, I trust your replacement. Because His replacement is always worth the pain of letting go. And when it arrives, you will understand why He had to remove what you once held so tightly. Every hardship you go through is not just a random moment of suffering. It is part of a divine process shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more spiritually grounded. Many people falsely assume that when life gets difficult, it means Allah is displeased with them. But the truth is often the opposite. Hardship is not always punishment. In most cases, it is preparation. It is Allah strengthening your heart, refining your character, and polishing your soul for a blessing you cannot yet see. The gift you are destined to receive requires a version of you that hardship alone can create. Think about the strongest steel. It is not shaped in comfort, it is shaped in fire. It is exposed to intense heat so that it becomes unbreakable. You are no different. Your struggles may feel overwhelming, but they are molding you, purifying you, and removing weaknesses that would have caused greater harm later. Allah does not place you in the fire to destroy you. He places you there to build you. And when you emerge, you don't just survive, you transform. Some of the most beautiful moments of your life will come after seasons that nearly broke you. And when you look back, you realize the pain wasn't pointless. That heartbreak taught you self-respect and boundaries. That financial struggle taught you humility and gratitude. That disappointment taught you patience and reliance on Allah. That rejection taught you that what is written for you will never pass you by. Every hardship carried a lesson. Every lesson carried growth. Every growth prepared you for a gift. There are blessings that Allah wants to give you, but if He handed them to you too early, they would slip through your fingers. You might misuse them. You might not appreciate them. You might not even recognize them. Sometimes Allah is not holding the blessing back. He is holding you back until you are strong enough to hold it. Imagine giving a fragile glass cup to a shaky hand. It will break. But if that hand becomes steady, trained and disciplined, it can hold the same cup safely. Your heart is that hand. Allah strengthens it through hardship so it can safely carry the blessings He has written for you. There are people who ask Allah for love, but their hearts are still wounded and closed. So Allah sends hardship first to heal what is broken so they don't ruin what is beautiful. Others ask for success, but their character is not yet ready. So Allah sends challenges that teach discipline, perspective, gratitude, and humility. Others ask for peace, but are surrounded by chaos within themselves. So Allah allows difficulty that forces them to turn inward, reconnect with their Creator, and rediscover who they are beyond their pain. Hardship is not just about survival, it is about transformation. It turns arrogance into humility, impatience into calm, weakness into resilience, and fear into tawakkul. And when the blessing finally arrives, you realize something profound. If you hadn't gone through the struggle, you would not have been ready for this moment. One day, you will look back and thank Allah for every tear, every sleepless night, and every trial. Because without them, you would not have become the version of yourself who can now embrace the blessing with maturity, gratitude, and wisdom. The hardship was not the obstacle, it was the training ground, it was the path, not the detour. And when Allah finally gives you what He has prepared, every painful moment will make perfect sense. There comes a moment in every believer's life when Allah surprises them with a blessing so precise, so perfectly timed, and so deeply personal that it shakes them to their core. It is the kind of blessing that enters quietly yet transforms everything. It restores your heart, strengthens your faith, and reminds you that Allah was listening to every whispered dua, every silent tear, and every hidden worry you carried alone. This kind of divine surprise doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. It awakens a level of iman you didn't even know you were capable of feeling. When Allah gives you something unexpectedly beautiful, it's not random. It's a message. It's Allah saying, I know you, I see you, I hear you, and I have never forgotten you. For so long you may have felt like your du'as were unanswered, like your efforts were unnoticed, like your struggles were unseen. But when that moment arrives, when the blessing you never imagined becomes reality, your heart trembles with gratitude. You realize that Allah was always working behind the scenes in ways your imagination could never reach. And the most beautiful part, the blessing often comes at a time when you least expect it. Not when you are demanding it, not when you are obsessing over it, but when you finally surrender, when your heart empties of desperation and fills with trust. It is in those moments of quiet submission, when you say, Wa Allah, whatever you choose for me is better than what I choose for myself, that Allah opens a door you didn't even know existed. This surprise, this divine intervention has a profound effect on your soul. It restores your ability to hope again. It softens the parts of your heart that hardship hardened. It heals wounds that time alone could not heal. It reminds you that Allah's mercy is far greater than your worries, His plans far wiser than your fears, and His timing far more perfect than your deadlines. Many people go through life feeling spiritually drained until they witness a moment where Allah's plan unfolds so beautifully that it brings them to tears. It might be a person who enters your life and brings you peace you've never known. It might be a job opportunity that aligns effortlessly with your strengths. It might be a solution to a problem you struggled with for years. It might be a moment of clarity that lifts you from darkness. Whatever form it comes in, that blessing becomes a turning point. It becomes a reminder that Allah's mercy is not distant, it is deeply personal. And when this happens, your faith rises to a level you cannot fully explain. You begin praying with more sincerity. You trust Allah with more confidence. You let go of fears that once controlled you. You stop chasing what isn't meant for you and start walking with the calmness of someone who knows that what is written will come. And what isn't will never bring you happiness anyway. This kind of divine surprise becomes a lifelong memory, one you revisit in moments of doubt. Whenever life becomes heavy again, you recall that moment and remind yourself, the one who helped me before will help me again. And with that remembrance, your heart becomes lighter. Because once Allah surprises you in a way that touches your soul, your entire relationship with Him becomes deeper, stronger, and unshakable. You no longer just believe He is the best planner. You feel it with every part of your being. And that feeling becomes the foundation of a faith that nothing in this world can break. In the end, my brothers and sisters, the journey of life teaches us one powerful truth. Allah's plan is always unfolding, even when we cannot see it. Every delay has wisdom. Every removal has mercy. Every hardship has a purpose. And every beautiful surprise has divine love written all over it. When you look back at your life, you will realize that the moments you cried the hardest were the ones that shaped you the most. And the moments that arrived unexpectedly were the ones that strengthened your faith in ways nothing else could. So never lose hope in Allah's timing. Never despair when He takes something away. Never underestimate the value of a struggle. And never doubt that He can bless you in a way that will leave you in tears of gratitude. What He has written for you is greater than anything you could write for yourself. What He chooses for you is better than what you chase. And what He gives you will always come at the perfect moment, wrapped in wisdom, delivered with mercy, and filled with beauty. May Allah make you among those who witness His plan unfold in a way that fills your heart with peace, certainty, and joy. May He surprise you with blessings that remind you that He has always been near. And may your trust in Him grow so deeply that nothing in this world can shake your faith again. If this message touched your heart, then share it with someone who needs hope today. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so this reminder can reach more hearts and spread more light. Inshallah.